So here's another story that hit my timeline that I wanted to get into here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch on WCPT 820 AM, HeartlandSignal.com, WSBC 1240 AM Chicago, and on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. It comes to us from CNN Sports as well. Why global warming could be rewriting race history at major marathon events by George Ramsey. Runners already face a daunting challenge when they line up at the start of a marathon, but they might increasingly find themselves with another obstacle to reckon with: global warming. A new study claims that rising temperatures around the world will make it harder for elite athletes to break the marathon world record or for recreational runners to hit their target times. Of the 221 races analyzed in the report from Climate Central released last week, 86% of them are less likely to have optimal racing conditions for runners by 2045. That includes last Sunday's New York City Marathon and the other 6 major marathons around the world: London, Berlin, Tokyo, Chicago, Boston, and Sydney. For runners, the consequences of running in hot conditions can be extreme. Quote, "We've seen time and time again where athletes are passing out from dehydration and heat exhaustion during races and taking months to recover," Scottish distance runner Mahari McLennan told CNN Sports. "It has really significant impacts on the thickness of your blood and how quickly your blood is able to recover, on your hydration levels for days, and also your ability to train after that kind of experience, which can then delay other achievements and goals that you're pursuing." According to the study, the optimal temperature for elite male marathon runners is 39 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius, and 48 degrees Fahrenheit, 9 degrees Celsius for elite women. This year, the Tokyo Marathon had a 69% chance of optimal race day temperatures for elite men per the study, but those odds are expected to fall to 57% in just 20 years. The Boston Marathon's odds are expected to drop from 61 to 53% for the same category over the same time span, while London's reduced from 22 to 17. For elite women, the likelihood of optimal conditions is also anticipated to fall at 5 of the 7 marathon majors by 2045, with the odds reduced by 10% and 11% or more at the Sydney and Berlin marathons, respectively. According to data from climate monitoring agency Copernicus, 2024 was the hottest year on record, 1.6 degrees Celsius warmer than the period before humans began burning large amounts of fossil fuels. It broke the previous record in 2023. Exercising in high temperatures places greater stress on the body, especially in high humidity, and athletes' hydration strategy becomes even more crucial. And you can check out the entire article over at CNN Sports, Why Global Warming Can Be Rewriting Race History and Major Marathon Events. And look, it's just one of those things that we just can't ignore. Like, we know that there is some form of climate change, and this isn't one of those conversations where I'm going to try to convince those that don't believe in global warming or climate change, or to reaffirm anybody who does. The point being is, something is affecting the planet. Temperatures are rising. Sometimes they're dropping. It just depends. It's abnormal, if you will. We have seen a lot of abnormality when it comes to this subject matter. But what I find interesting in the story is not just the science behind it, and obviously how scary that seems to be, is also just the simple fact that owners and sports leagues do not care. We are going to get a baseball team in Las Vegas, a place that probably shouldn't have human beings. There are baseball, football, and basketball teams that play in Arizona. Now, a lot of these teams are indoor facilities, and they have air conditioning, and everything is climate control. It's perfect, right? Except it's obviously feeding off energy. So let's just say, for sake of conversation, you had to do the Buffalo thing or the Chicago thing, open air stadiums, right? Used to the elements. How many places in the United States are really going to be habitable, if you will, 20, 30 years from now? It's not going to be in Salt Lake City if that lake dries off and all of a sudden all that salt and all that bad stuff goes into the air. It is a fascinating story that even with all the science and data, we are going to push forward when it comes to being a society that completely falls into capitalism. Wherever you can make the most money, where can I get the best tax deals? Where can I build the biggest stadium? I can do it in Las Vegas? Great. Is it hotter than hell there? Absolutely. But the fans will be okay because we'll put air conditioning there. Just a fascinating story to keep our eye on over the next decade or so and see how bad Max Dennis might actually get. We got more coming up next on this edition of the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch on WCPT 820 AM, Heartland Signal, WSBC 1240 AM Chicago, and on YouTube at The Sports Cubicle. I'm your host, Mike Mercado.